All right, here we go. July shop walk around. Rodger, you got a packed house.
Dude.
We also got Bill's car back here. I heard he
Whoa, whoa,
abused
whoa,
it.
whoa, whoa. He was in a hurry for a meeting. And he let all the metal shrapnel out of the Ford 9-inch. We just don't know if it was gears or bearings yet. But all there's metal stuff all underneath.
But was there smoke involved, like as in tire smoke?
He says that's all he can do because it sounds so good. Yeah.
Okay, so it makes me happy, and I'm sure everyone else. As long as there's tire smoke involved in it, then that's a plus.
Well, I told him if he wouldn't drive it, that it would have a lifetime warranty.
Right. But no, it's great because
They only break when you drive them.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, they only break. Same with your motorcycle, right?
Here we go.
So sorry, you'll have to look on other pages to get that. Sorry, too many inside jokes.
This guy, man.
So if you could see the look on his face, yeah,
making me red.
He's mad about it already.
Okay, let's get back to your shop. So
We got a lot of updates probably first.
okay, talk
There's
to
this
us.
big, beautiful truck that didn't go to Puyallup to go on the road tour because, I won't even bore you. You can go watch the video for this and hear half the reasons why it didn't work. Yeah, so we are finishing up the interior, which is another reason, and yeah. So
It was a logistical nightmare and time and just everything.
Oh,
so
it was, yeah.
he goes off on a tangent in the video about
Yeah,
that
you don't
truck.
want to do that again. So all the cars are going to go up a few days before the road tour. Goldie's here, just getting ready because she's going to ship from here. Glenn's taking the Unicorn. Danny's trying to decide what car he's taking. So we're just trying to get everything kind of checked out. She just rolled over 8,000 miles. So this will be her third road tour. It's just, man, this is a nice car to drive.
It's a driver.
So, truck is going well. Been road touring this, figuring out how to get all these monster truck shocks all dialed in, high speed, low speed, rebound, reservoir pressures, spring rates. Yeah, it's not a Chevelle. So, we've been dealing with that. Mercedes is back from paint, and we can kind of show you around on that. We had the interior in this. So you can show you some B-roll of what it looked like in there, or you can just go to the Mercedes video. We got 3 months left to get it ready to go to the Spal booth at SEMA. It'll be in the Spal booth at SEMA. If you haven't already heard that, yeah, it's going to be wild. Spoke with Dilesh this morning on colors. Man, he's not stopping. It's going to be cool. So interior colors are going to be good. Other note is the Nova is not going to SEMA to be in the Roadster Shop booth. And some people, even the Roadster Shop guys, were like, well, why don't you give it another month? Well, here's the reason that I don't want to do it, is that it got down to the point where we were going to have to finish everything in August, September, and October. So that means bodywork, paint, and assemble. That means put the whole car together, finish building all the interior, cover the interior, do all that stuff in 3 months. Not possible, not even a great scenario.
And before anyone else chirps in and says, come on, that's crazy, you can do it. You've been down the SEMA crunch deal multiple times. You've been to SEMA with
Well,
cars.
those are all the people that need to come and take our business development class because they're biting off more than they can chew. And I've done that, where you're going to show up and make a fool of yourself, and then you got to bring it back, and you got to readjust the windows, and you got to do this, and you got to do that, and all these things that weren't done because you wanted to make it happen. And it's a total bummer because Daryl, who's a great customer, who's been in this for a while, was really excited to be one of the top picks or whatever for the Roadster Shop booth. And even Josh was like, man, let's give it another month, let's see what you can do. And I'm like, well, here's the reason why I don't want to do it, is that if I tell you now, you're going to take let's just presume I was in the top 3. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. But let's presume I'm in the top. So everything behind me is going to move up. So now what would have been the 10th car, or the car that wouldn't have been in the booth, gets moved in there. Well, if I wait, that guy probably took a spot somewhere else. And so then the Roadster Shop winds up taking 15th or 16th or 20th place car because I waited to go later. And that's the part where I don't want to show up and you're like, what's this turd doing in here? Because you've all seen all the SEMA turds, and I don't want to be that guy. And so I look at them as they're putting a big investment into the booth, offering a good spot, doing all those things. And as soon as I saw the writing on the wall, which really was probably 60 days ago or a little bit more, that I'm like, this thing ain't gonna happen. Like, there's a lot of people who are making promises that this is gonna happen and that's gonna happen, and it's not. And I'm just not gonna put the customer, the Roadster shop, my staff, who's gonna have to figure out how to pull a rabbit out of their butt to get all that stuff to happen, to pull off something that we really shouldn't. So we've decided at this point we're going to unveil the car at Columbus Good Guys next summer. We are not intending to build. Some people are like, well, why aren't you going to Slonaker? Why aren't you going here? Why aren't you going that? Because we're not trying to build that type of car. I'm not trying to go and act like we're taking a car that's intended to be driven. It's got badass horsepower, badass shocks, all the great stuff, and put it up on a stand and not use it. I'm just kind of done with that whole mantra. And so that's what we're trying to do, is show up to do that next summer. Actually, go back to the old days when you unveiled a car at the Good Guys show, because that's his other dream position, is to show up and do that. Let alone, what's another month and a half to go to Pomona really going to do?
Yeah. Okay, so no statues. That's what you call them.
No statues.
Okay. The cars that just sit on platforms never get used. And you're not trying to keep on over-promising further than already what's not going to be happening, correct? And you don't want to put your guys in that position, and the customer and whatnot. So that takes a lot for a shop owner to make that decision and own it.
I just got to do what's best.
Yeah.
It sucks. Sucks for Daryl. I hate to make that phone call. Hate to do that. Sorry, Daryl. I know you said it, you understand, but it's the position we're put in.
Okay.
And so I'm going to work on getting that stuff together, and we're going to make a legitimate place to go where we want to go with the car to achieve the things that we want to achieve.
Okay.
So
let's get back into where we're sitting with some of this other stuff. It's great that this one's going back out for some more miles. That one's going to be hitting some miles coming back from Washington to Pleasanton. So if anyone is out at Pleasanton, come check out this truck.
Yep.
And then you got two other cars that are going to be going to Washington to drive back on the road tour.
Yeah, we're taking Glenn's Unicorn, the black one with white stripes with red interior, and then Danny's either driving the Fairlane or the Falcon.
Unicorn, as in the Unicorn name is his name for his 70 Chevelle, for Glenn's 70 Chevelle.
Glenn's 70 Chevelle, which is the number 2 Chevelle from a long time ago. It's been on a few road tours. He's back.
Wait, so is that a total of 4 vehicles going, or 5?
Total of 4.
Okay.
So speaking of that, Danny just pulled in.
Oh, okay.
That's amazing.
So we're going to find out which one he's taking, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay.
So
let's start walking around. This is getting too static. We're getting stale sitting right here.
This is getting boring. If you're still here, yeah, check it out.
All right. So the Mercedes.
So Mercedes, we got it back. To speed things up, we've decided that we were going to let the paint dry, get the drivetrain, and get everything underneath in the car. Evan is starting to put all the boom mat and everything under the firewall, so all the wiring that we've already done can go in there and get installed completely. We had the interior mocked up, and you can put some of those pictures in there that was in there this morning, so the upholstery guys could see it and they could see where we're working and see what we're trying to do.
But this one's still going to SEMA.
This one's still going to SEMA. It'll be in the Spal booth. All that's still good.
But this one's back from the paint shop.
Back from the paint shop. We're just waiting to get the rest of the parts back from the paint shop and getting the stuff underneath installed so we can move forward with that. We had all that prep.
And that's still going to be a task to get this car done for SEMA. Like, that's still, like, it seems like not that big of a deal, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Dash parts, we fit all that, going through colors. You can see how all this stuff goes together. You can see how the defrost vents mount to the dash mounts. You can see the train's TCU. He can show you a clip from the other video. You can see where all that stuff's going together. So
yeah, this was in the car earlier this morning.
Yeah, so it was in the car earlier this morning, and that's why we do it. It goes in and out so easy. Like, that's why we kind of design and build our own stuff. So we got that. Number 6, Chris Yeti Chevelle. We got the 1/2-inch fuel line on it, so we can just run exclusive E85 if he wants. He's found a fuel station up there that's semi-close for E85 if that's what he wants. But it'll be flex fuel, so we can run regular fuel. He can run E85 once he decides that, yeah, this is a lot of power. So At this point, he's just like, hey, make it run as fast as it'll go reliably. So we put a big Aeromotive fuel pump in it, getting that thing into the tank. We've got the 1/2-inch fuel line. We put we're gonna put a smooth boost on it, which we've used on a few cars. That's an electronic, I forget what these are called, like a blow-off valve. So it's vacuum actuated and replaces that to make it digitally controlled by the ECU, so that you can control the boost that way instead of just really an on-off switch, really.
And let's talk about who has smooth boost is the 67 Chevelle, Rodger Holder.
Yeah, we do it on a lot of cars with blowers just because it makes it not hit so hard and allows you to maybe even have it a little bit more boost at the bottom.
Yeah, and that thing, that car.
It does all right if you've seen some of the videos.
I mean, the tires chirp every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hook up.
Rodger Holder's 67 red Chevelle that has been popping up on Autotopia's videos.
Autotopia. So
we're hoping that this thing is going to create some smoke just like that one.
Oh, this one is probably run the same. It's pretty equivalent, actually. Big blower, 427, all that stuff. So getting everything in here. We got the e-stop in it. We got e-brake cables, boom mat installed in here. Getting a lot of that stuff going on the car. Car's all polished now. It's just Bakersfield is harvest time so that as soon as you open the doors, everything gets dusty right now.
Yeah, you're going to have to do a final polish.
Yeah, but it looks super dusty. So we're getting that together. And let's see, we went over the truck. We got the Mercedes. We went over the Nova not going. Let's go back here. So we got Chad's Chevelle. We're waiting on a transmission crossmember from Roadster Shop. No, we're not. We're making the transmission crossmember on this one because the motor's back. And then we got the intercooler to mount up on the core support in the front and getting that set up. We've got bumpers back from the blaster so we can start cutting and trimming those. Just waiting on some answers from the customer himself on a few things for direction, but we're getting ready to start moving on those other parts and pieces.
Yeah, I see that the drip rails are pretty much...
Drip rails are wrapped up. All that stuff's looking good. Upgraded latches are in. Most everything else is looking good. So, but we haven't done a whole lot on that this month. Just little parts and pieces. Over here we got Steve's car. We're working on the CAD designs for the billet bumpers. I know, it's crazy. I said that. Machine billet bumpers. So it's just the easiest way to the end for what we're trying to do. It's pretty crazy. So, but we're getting all that. We've been working on engine bay stuff, just getting everything to clear. LME wants him to have 2-inch headers. The ultimate headers wouldn't fit with the port configuration that they had on that side. And this side was a whole nother reason. So, but they also wanted 2-inch, which made it hard. LME, for some reason, ran this engine with additional head bolts, which made the exhaust harder to fit. The ultimate headers harder to fit. So we've been just dealing with that. This space up here is pretty tight with valve covers that they had and different parts and pieces like that. So, yeah, got all the BMW latches mocked up. Once we can solidify a few other things in here, we can weld the firewall in. But really from about the dash back, everything there is ready. The rocker extensions are in. These trim moldings are, the 3D printed trim moldings are on here because this will be a trim, a molding for the trim. These are just 3D printed end caps that go on front and rear. And so we've got all that stuff mocked up so that when it's all done, we can finish that.
What are those going to be made out of once it's
Those
done?
will be aluminum.
Billet.
Billet aluminum. And so, and then up here, we've also changed where the fender mounts. The fender will no longer go all the way down. The fender will stop here so the molding can be one piece. And so we got all that stuff together.
And that's part of the scenario with these cars, with this chassis as well.
Yes.
Because now you don't have, you have the it's a unibody, so
yes,
you have to make it all in one piece.
But we also wanted the rocker molding to be one piece and not have a piece that was on the fender and then a piece that's on the rocker. But you can see the step in here that we've made and recessed all that in there so that everything is accessible. But it's nice and flush to the car with these pieces that'll bolt on. And there's also a recess on the front fenders, which should be, I don't know. Front fenders are here somewhere, right?
Over on stands.
Oh
in
yeah,
the
they're right
back.
behind us. So, right down here you can see where the recess is for those pieces to bolt in. So there was.
And do we know if those, like, what's going to be the finish on those compared to the body?
I think it's gonna be nickel plated.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't know the color yet.
I don't know what it is, but I've seen glimpses of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's Ferrari color. It's not red.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
other than that, I think, yeah, getting quarters on number 8. And
And real quick, number 8 is basically a inventory car for someone to jump on at some point. Like if they want to do a Legacy Series car.
yeah, number 8 is there. Chassis number 10 is coming. The donor for number 10 is out back. We were going to make number 8 a test car, but I think that it's smarter to make number 10 the test car because number 8 is a VIN 70. And so a VIN 70 Chevelle is just worth more than a clone, even though it really doesn't matter when you're talking about these cars.
Yeah.
So, and then we've just got other stuff here that is waiting. Oh, we have a chassis that we got here for the square body test truck that we were waiting for. That we have, I don't know if we've said it before, but we've nicknamed it Pooh because it's brown, and so it'll be POOH
Okay.
because it looks like poo. And so this is a no limit chassis. It's got the GM differential IRS in it. It's got all of his race stuff on it. And so we wanted to try the geometry of what he's got here. And then we also put a adjustable ratio rack in here from Woodward to start trying those out. We used to hear that they leaked a lot, and apparently they're not leaking as much as they used to. That seems to be getting better is what I've been told. So, but they use them a lot in race cars that aren't meant to see tens of thousands of miles. And, but we want to be able to adjust the ratios in that to get really the steering feel to where like you could really just 90 degree everything you're doing, if that's the feel you want. So most of these other cars, you can't really get that sports car feel as much. And so that's where we wanted to start testing it. We're going to start testing it also in the Chevelles.
Okay. Before we end this, I did see earlier on the wall, it looks like we have a wiring harness in development, as in like finishing it up on the wall over here on the backside.
Oh yeah, that is the harness for Chris's Chevelle.
I just figured it might be kind of cool to show the viewers. I mean, it's laid out like this.
Yeah, so he's got his coach panel that goes in the trunk. So this will go in the trunk, and then this routes up here and goes through the whole car. And then this is the dash bar that goes here with the Holley Terminator X Max, and then all the other wiring that gets distributed through the rest of the car.
So it looks like a lot to take in, but
it makes it way easier to access, makes it way easier to picture what's going on. You can put everything together, and then we can throw it in the car.
yeah.
And the main gist is that we can do this while the car is at paint and body.
Right.
So then we can come back and just throw everything in the car, and especially in the Chevelles because we've done them so many times now.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, again, I saw this in the background, and I think it's pretty cool because wiring is overwhelming to a lot of people. Josh has Josh
loves wiring.
His magic, and this is really cool to see it laid out like this.
It is.
So
If
okay.
you got any more questions, just hit us up on our shop email for the website, and it'll give you a few questions. Please answer those, and it'll direct you to the right person. So if you're still here, thank you very much, and have a good day.